Clark Connection podcast, where 12 years of coaching championships meets real-world leadership. Coach Clark broke through at the highest levels. Now he's bringing you the playbook. Every week, real leaders, real wins. Real strategies you can use Monday morning. If you're done with theory and ready for results, this is your show. You in? Let's go!
All right, and welcome everyone. It's Ask the Coach Live with me, Coach Clark, and we're going to be joined by a special guest today, Shawn Wilson. But before we get going on that, got a couple of quick announcements, things that are going on, things like that. So tomorrow, going to have a different Ask the Coach or podcast episode. Caitlin and myself will be going through our top 5 movie quotes. So it's a little bit different. It's going to be a little fun. I have some laughs, but there's some serious podcast or some leadership quotes and things that we have coming through there. It's going to be a blast. Definitely make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and have those notifications on because you'll find us there. Also, a couple other things. They're going to be doing leadership breakfast. It's going to be next Tuesday. That's June the 16th. That's 7:30 in the morning. If follow me on all of my social medias, you can find me at Coach Clark Leadership. Search there and you'll see it. It's posting on, it's got the address and everything. Make sure that you go in, click the calendar link and reserve your spot. I only have a few of it, or I only have so much space that I can use there. So make sure that you get and reserve that spot. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be an excellent one. And then also next week, my friend Nikki Cruz is going to have her summit. It's virtual. It's free. They make sure that you go sign up, and we'll be posting on there for that as well. And really just wanting to make sure that you guys get on there. And it's called the Sustained Success Summit. I'm going to be on there talking about the importance of personal growth and how that applies to you as a leader, business owner, just you in general, and how important that is for you. Also want to make sure that I give a quick shout out to the sponsor of the show, Hubbard Flooring Studio. They're a premier sponsor. They do more than just build floors. They help develop leaders. They've got you from the ground all the way to the ceiling. Get your blinds, get your curtains, all that. Talk to Vicky and the crew. And also helping to keep the lights on. Thank you to Steadfast Electric, BJ. They're awesome. And look, it's hurricane season. So we all know what that means. If you live in the Gulf South, you know one's coming. It's coming. And so make sure that you see them today. Look up BJ, look up Steadfast Electric, hit them up, get your generator today. That way you got to have power, especially living in South, man, it's too hot to go without that. Also shout out to Bobby with the Comfy Quest LLC, Dr. Bob, and Andrew with Automate Integrate. And so we've got on today, we've got my friend Shawn coming on. We're going to be talking about mental health and the importance of that with men. And so Shawn, nope, don't do that button. Can you hear us, Shawn?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. You can turn your camera on, guys.
There it goes.
There he is.
Sorry about that. That's my end.
In all his glory. Dude, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother. How are you?
Oh, man, you know me. I'm doing great. Any better than I'd be twins, and then I couldn't stand myself. Come to think about it, I don't know that anybody else could either. Could you imagine that?
That would be a bit wild.
I know. 2 Aarons running around. 2 Aarons. Whew.
You know what's amazing about that, Aaron, is that one skit changed people's names forever.
Yes. and more people spell my name correctly now because of that. When I tell them Aaron, they're like, oh, I was about to spell it Erin. I'm like, I mean, I'm good looking and all, but I'm not that good looking.
You're not a girl. That's how girls spell it. But anyway. I'm totally just got you canceled.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Well, hey, all right. So let's talk real quick. Like, who is Shawn? Like, what do you what got you into being so passionate about men's health or mental
Oh,
health?
yeah. So, husband, 20 going on 22, 23 years, dad of 5, um, entrepreneur, just dude, theology nerd, all that good stuff. And really what got me into men's mental health was my own crisis. Back
Mm,
in 2018, 2019, I had a pretty significant uh, episode of massive depressive disorder, lasted about 19 months. Uh, it really was the most difficult struggle I've had, personally. And what I found is as I was in the midst of it, I'm kind of a talker. If you follow me, you kind of know that. But when I talk out my thoughts. So I wrestle with things verbally. And what I started to notice is when I would talk about it, especially like on things like Facebook and um, things like that, I'd find that so many other people were, wrestling with their mental health. Statistically, it's 1 out of every 5 men, I believe, and 1 out of every 4 women. So, like, that's a ton. 20% of men, 25% of women. Think about that. If you're in a room of 100 men, 20 of them are significantly dealing with a mental health issue, and wrestling with it, and that's a
mm,
lot, right? You have a church of a
that
1,000
is.
people. That's a ton of people. Um, and so, yeah, and that's where I've I talk about it a lot. I wrestle with it a lot. I tend to, yeah, just be out there talking, man, because what I find is a lot of times when you deal with depression or anxiety, you, your mind works against you and you want to be alone, right? It try to isolate you. And the worst thing you can do when it comes to mental health is be alone. So I try to talk
Mhm.
about it a lot.
Oh yeah. And it goes against everything you would think too as a person like, "Oh, I feel bad." Cuz I mean, if you're sick, like, yeah, please stay over there. Don't bring that over here. But when it's with your mental health and things not going right, you tend to want to do the same thing, and not get around and get connected to those people that love and care for you.
Yeah, it's like it's a curse, man, because like you said, if someone has the flu, you're like, hey, stay over there. Don't come over here, please. Right. Um, and it's the opposite when it comes to mental health. You need to be around people. And you don't want to. Like mentally, I remember when I was in my struggle, even the one I had last year, I didn't want to be around people, but I wanted to be around people, right? And that doesn't make sense. Mentally, I wanted to disengage, but everything in me was like, I know I need to be around people because if I isolate myself, that's how it gets me. And so I mean, you just got to be able to talk about it. Really comes down to you, which is very difficult.
Yeah. And so that kind of leads me into my first question, which was, why do you think that this is such an important topic to talk about, men's mental health?
Yeah. So, man, I wish I had the statistic. I believe it's like one man. So one every 60 men a day, is it? Or 60 men an hour? I'll have to go back and look. But um, the significant amount of men who who are dealing with mental health issues or who end their life every day, and then throughout the year, I think it's like 500,000 men will end their life because of depression or anxiety or some kind of mental health struggle in a year. 500,000. That's more people than we lost in the Vietnam War, right? And I'm venture to say it's probably close to World War II statistics, right? And so you're looking at like that could be anybody right? Like that's it's a huge deal. So I think the reason for me is in what I found through my own struggle is one, a lot of people don't understand mental health, and I get it because it's not something you see. If someone has cancer, you can see, oh, they lost their hair. You can kind of see, you can telltale signs of cancer. Someone breaks their leg, you see a cast, that kind of thing. mental health, they could be smiling, they could be laughing, joking, carrying on, and the next day they're gone, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, wait, I didn't even notice. Well, really, there's signs, but they're not. If you don't know what those signs are, that's where the issue is. And a lot of men don't talk about things, right? We're really good at holding on to it inside. And so, what I've found in my own struggle talking with other men is that when we talk about it, it it lowers the pressure, it lowers the internal struggle, and it's just one of those things. Is like you got to get the word out because
Hmm.
so many men are ending their life, and families are being. It's a nuclear bomb going off in a family, right? And it's something we got to talk more about.
Yeah, and I think it's so like, ooh, don't talk about that so much because we've been told our entire lives, hey, whatever you do, Sean, that don't talk about your feelings, don't talk about anything like that. That's not cool. That man up. Hey, be
Yeah,
tough. And
yeah.
it
That's that's the thing, man. And here, so here's the thing. Men are not supposed to talk about their feelings. Men are not supposed to like cry. Men are not supposed to like show emotion. And I'm like, I'm a human being, right? Like God created me to show emotion, not just anger, too, right? Like that's the one. Like, oh, guys are always angry. I'm like, oh, you know, no. Like sometimes I'm broken. Sometimes I'm exhausted to the point of I don't know how I'm going to, function in the next 10 minutes. And what we do and what the culture has done, and I'll even say this, what the church culture has done is made mental health a taboo subject because we don't understand it. And I get it. There's things about it I don't understand. But I know if I want to stay here for my family and my 5 kids, I have to figure out how to talk about what I'm dealing with, right? Whether that's going to a therapist, whether that's, journaling or praying or whatever it is I'm dealing with or how to deal with it. It's important. The thing is,
Mhm.
there's no good, like you can get on medicine and I recommend that, if you need it. Um, but it's a struggle because the brain is like this. I mean, it's wild, man. It's unlike anything else. And when it's hurt or when it's broken, um, science hasn't figured out a good way to fix it yet. And so we're still experimenting with a lot of that.
No, and that makes sense too. Because I mean, the brain is just so that it's constantly forming, reforming. You got all the different neuro pathways and the whatnot going on inside the brain, and it really is. It's just one of my favorite books is "Winning the War in Your Mind" by Craig Rochelle, and where he really talks about how to rewire your brain and how you can overcome that self doubt that they come to just live with. And so, and it even goes through and talks like because we went there and both you and I are believers. But I mean, if we even look back at the heroes in the Bible, how many of those men struggled with mental health? I mean, King
Yeah.
David struggled with it. Uh, Elijah, who just like he did all the Baal's prophets and whatnot, they struggled with it. I mean, so much so he was even praying to die. Like he
Yeah.
was asking God to take his life from him. So I mean, and we could go through and just countless throughout the Bible of people dealing with that depression or anxiety or whatever you want to say. Um, but I mean, I do think so. Like, I know one of the next questions I'd put out for us to kind of go through and talk about was, so what are some of the biggest challenges that men face today that people often overlook?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that men struggle with that is overlooked is most men don't have any friends, right? They don't have
Mm,
someone that they can call at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, hey, man, I'm done. I'm going to check out, right? They don't have that. And people are like, well, I got friends. Sean, I got friends. But I think a lot of us have acquaintances at work or in different social settings or even at church but we don't have what Stephen Mansfield, the men's leader, has said, as we don't have a band of brothers, right? We don't have a band of brothers that knows us kind of in and out, right? They know the junk that's in us and they still love us. They know our strengths and weaknesses. They don't let us BS ourselves, but they also are kind and compassionate. Like, you played football. I played football growing up. There's something about when you're in a locker room on a team that's a really good, like, and I don't mean team on the field like they're great on the field. I mean the cohesion on a team that you can joke, you can fight. Man, I've seen fights with teammates in a locker room that would put a UFC fight to shame, right? But when you get on the field, none of that mattered, right? None of that mattered. And I think one of the biggest issues for men is, one, we don't have any friends. Two, we're working, 70, 80, 90 hours a week, and we don't have a release valve. The Bible clearly teaches. Can you
No, I lost you.
hear me? Oh, did we lose it? Oh no. Let me see.
Oh, hey, you're back. You're back.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I don't know how long I was out, but men don't have friends. They're working, 70, 80 hours a week. They don't have a day off, right? The Bible commands, hey, take a day off, right? Rest. And they don't have hobbies, right? They don't have anything that they just enjoy doing for no apparent reason other than the enjoyment of it, right? So I think that's some of the issues men really face.
Yeah, I think that's a good one too. That not really having the friends, not having that group of people that you connect with. And yeah, I mean, we've got thousands of friends on Facebook, but I think to your point, how many of those people could I call at 2 a.m. that would answer the phone?
Correct.
And I could probably count maybe one or two on my hand that would answer the phone that at that time. And that just having those people that I know whenever I was new into the entrepreneur journey, that was one that I struggled with a lot. Was, man, I just didn't know, like, connecting with people, because like you can't understand the pressure that I'm going through if you don't own a business yourself, if you're not putting it all on your own back. But getting connected, like with BNI, or I know we're now with the Christian Businessman Connection in Baton Rouge. Having a group of people that you can get in and really just like connect with outside is huge. And then I think there's still that social expectation, even though that we've got, most families are two home working families now.
Yeah.
Most men, they bring in more money, because when you think about it, who is the caretaker for the kids? Well, most of the time it's the woman. That especially, and I think that's important, especially in their younger years, having mom at home to nurture and care for them. But then as we go through, they really starting to get in. That's where us as dad comes in to play that role of, hey, that's not right. This is not how we do things. You got to work through and figure this out, because nobody's going to care about you once you leave this house. That type stuff. Being able to help give them that tough love that's from us as a dad. And I think another one too that we all, you touched on it, working the 40 or the 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I mean, how many of us put our identity in our work?
That's it. Yeah. So many people do. I think, what's the first thing you talk to when you meet a new guy, right? I mean, a new dude. What's the first question you ask him besides what's his name? It's, what do you do? And so we automatically associate my identity is what I do. And dude, that's an identity that's doomed to be destroyed relatively easily, right? Because what happens when you get the phone call like I did last year? Hey, you're no longer a part of the team. Wait, what? Then your identity crisis is now, but I was this guy. What am I
Mhm.
now? And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of men don't have an identity outside of what they do or how much money they make or what kind of social standing they're in, right? And so if they move out of any one of those spheres in a negative way, they don't know what to do, right? When in reality, man,
Right.
maybe possibly God is doing something in you and he's moving you around. So,
Yeah. Well, it makes me think because I know like the first identity crisis I ever had was when football was over, when football was no more. Like, I feel like Ricky Bobby, like, what do I do with my hands now?
yeah, right. Like, what do I do? Yeah, dude, I think a man has to find his identity in God. You can't find it in what you do. You can't find it in the woman. John Eldridge does a great teaching on this. You can't find it in the toys that we have, the cars. I love cool cars and would love a 20,000 square foot house, I guess. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just stuff, right? And what
Mhm.
happens if it burns down? Is my identity's in my house? Well, is my identity gone, or if the car is in an accident? Is my identity gone? If is the job disappears, is my identity gone? We have to know who we are in Christ as God's children, as God's sons, right? That's what He calls us.
Mhm.
And if our identity is secure in there, then all of the other things that come, right? They won't destroy what God is building, right? And I think that's where men struggle. I struggle with that. And that's a part of the mental health struggle is we are looking for our identity in all these other things, right? Oh, Sean's the funny guy. Sean's the insurance guy. Sean's this guy. He's the theology guy.
Mhm.
And that's good. Those are all good things. But what happens if like I lose my voice and I can't talk anymore, right? Am I still a theology guy? I can't communicate now. What do I do? We have to find our identity in the one who gave it to us, who gave us life. And that's a struggle for men because we don't want to submit to God, right? But I have found in
Right.
my own struggle with mental health is going to the creator who created me, knowing that this world's broken and sinful and I know all those things, that when I was in my darkest moment with depression, after I had written the suicide note and I was saying, look, it's over, I can't do this anymore. What I found was in the midst of that darkness, well, Jesus was there. That's where I found him. He was there before I even got there, right? And so it was that movement out with Jesus, not realizing when I was descending into it that he was already at the bottom, right?
Mhm.
Coming out of that with him, it's like, wait a minute, even if I enter the valley of the shadow of death again, you are with me. That's what David said. You are with me in it. And it's like,
Yes.
wait a minute, okay. Yeah, I have mental health struggles. Last year, I ended up in the hospital because of it, right? But in that, I have learned that I like to call it a good theology of suffering is that we're not guaranteed ease and like everything is going to go our way, right? How many people do we know that have had in the last 6 months something happen? A child pass away, a job loss, car accident, cancer, whatever. We have to we have to hold on to our faith in the midst of all of this bad stuff that's around us and be okay with the mystery of going, I don't know why I'm here, but you are with me, right? God is with us. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And so in that kind of brings me right into my next question. It was why do you think so many men struggle to ask for help?
That's a good question. I think we're afraid a lot of times. We're afraid to look weak, right? I remember this last episode I had about a year ago, lasted about 3 or 4 months. Um, I went to my wife, and it was like the hardest thing I did to tell her, "Hey, I'm in an episode again." Why would it be hard to tell your essentially your best friend who you've been married to and who you slept
Mhm.
next to for the last 20 plus years to tell her you're having a depressive episode? Because it's vulnerable. We don't like being vulnerable,
Yeah.
right? And so vulnerability scares us, right? And so we struggle with that, and we don't want to be like, well, look, I'm supposed to be like we've been ingrained. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Don't cry, you sissy baby. Like all of these things
So stop
when
calling me names, Sean. Jeez.
you got to clip that and be like the latest guest has been calling me names all episode. But I mean,
I was
think
gonna
about this
say,
for a
well,
moment. The greatest man to ever walk the earth, Jesus of Nazareth, the Bible says that he wept, that he was angry, that he was tired, right? The humanity of Jesus is often overlooked for his divinity, and I love that. Jesus
mhm,
is God, but he was also a man who had bad days. He was a man who was like, "All right, guys, I don't care. I'm going to sleep. Leave me alone." He was a man who lost a friend and it crushed him. And that we to be able to go as a man to go to Christ and go, "Lord, I'm struggling with and I want to end it. I need you." Right? Like think about this. I remember you've probably been injured on the football field like I've been injured on a football field. I was injured so bad once, I couldn't walk off the field, right? What did they
mhm,
do? Did they leave me there? No, someone else helped me off, right? How many men need someone to go, "Look, you can't walk this off. You need help." And that's the thing is like on the field of life, sometimes you need some help off the field to get to go see a doctor, right? And that's okay, dude. It's totally
mhm.
okay. Nobody laughed at me because I couldn't walk off of a football field. They were concerned, like, is he gonna die? Like, is he okay? Right? And it's the same thing, man. Is like I when I talk to people and people find out I wrestled with depression, a lot of people come to me and they ask me, and the first thing I ask them is like, "Do you need help right now? Because I can stop everything I'm doing to help you." And that's what people need to know and hear. So, yeah, just don't be
Right.
afraid of it, you know?
That community is so important. Having the group of people that you can go to, that you can talk to, that aren't gonna make fun of you for getting hurt. Because I mean, we're in especially those of us that are believers, we're in a spiritual warfare all the time, and especially when you're trying to advance the kingdom, that it's going to come. I mean, I had an episode, and so it's one of those where, all right, I don't understand what's wrong with me right now because I'm a happy, outgoing, like that. Not much can hold me down type person, and that's a struggle, especially not for everybody. I mean, I would say for everybody, whenever you just can't get up and get going.
Right.
Um, and I think some of it has too, like, or that group of people who, like, or maybe you just don't have somebody you trust to tell, because that's a huge thing too. It's not, if I don't trust you,
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what's going on. Like, I'm
Right.
not going to be
Right.
like, Sean, I'm struggling today. And you be like, hey, Steve, did you?
Yeah.
Aaron's over here.
Right.
He's crying like a baby.
Gigantic baby over here. That's the thing, man. Is trust matters. And when it comes to community, perfect example. I have a friend. Um, you know of this person, of course, who has a similar struggle that I have, right? And we check in on each other, right? I was on vacation
Mhm.
like 3 weeks ago. I get a random text message from this friend. Hey, man, just want to check in and see how you're doing, right? Everything okay, right? That's it. Out of the blue, right? Hadn't seen him in a week or so, hadn't talked to him in a week, just checking in. Those are the things we need. Those are the things that, oh man, there's someone there. If I'm having a bad day, I can call, right?
Right.
And that's what matters, man. Someone you trust, someone who gets it, right? Like not everybody gets it, right? Job's friends didn't get it, right?
No.
and we need people. And look, I'm not saying that you should walk through depression so you can understand it. I've walked through it. I still don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
But someone who, like my wife, she's never walked through depression ever, but she knows me and she can see, hey, you're not okay. Come take a time out. Let's sit for a minute, right? And then it's like my walls break and I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, you're right. Let's talk about it. So yeah, we community. I mean, think about this. The very first thing that God does in the beginning, he builds community with Adam and Eve. First thing he does with the church, he builds community with the apostles and the gathering of the Peter preaches and the gospel explodes. Community is the most central thing to human flourishing outside of the family that you can have. You have to have community. You have to. Can't do it alone. There's no Lone Ranger men. Okay.
Right. And now what would be some signs like, hey, if I were to see somebody, how would I, or yeah, what would be signs for me or anybody who's listening right now know, hey, that person is probably struggling right now?
Yeah, yeah. I would say people you normally would see who maybe like they're engaged, start to back away. Right there. Now people are like, well, that could be anything. You're right. It could be anything, which is a good sign of going, hey man, everything okay? It may not be mental health. It could be something at work or something at home or whatever, health wise. But a
So,
big,
but it could lead to that if
well, that's it. It could
unaddressed.
lead to that. So it could be a disengagement. An obvious sign of right. They're just exhausted all the time. Mental health is draining on a level that I still don't get. And so you see them and if you hear these two words, they're not okay. Usually, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's a really good lie that we men like to tell all the time. Hey, are you good? I'm fine. No, are you good? Press a little harder, right? Um, but I think exhaustion, really quick to anger, right? Something that's uncharacteristic that like normally wouldn't cause them to be angry, just really sharp. That's usually a telltale sign something's up, right? Um, I would say, if they I think depression, anxiety has physical signs that are difficult to detect because they can be a lot of other things, right? Like if you knew me a
Mhm.
year ago, if I was in public, my knee would be bouncing a million miles per hour because I was struggling to be in a group. And so people could see that. So a lot of erratic movements. And again, I'm not saying that this person's about to go kill themselves. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they could be high anxiety, wrestling through some mental, struggles, those kind of things. It's weird. One of my therapists, who's a great dude, guy named Roger Butner, which you need to have on the show, dude. He's amazing. I don't know if you know Roger,
I
but
do not.
I'll send you his contact info. He's great. This dude legitimately saved my life. He's an amazing dude. But one of the things he told me when I first started therapy with him, he said there's two groups of people that I know who can identify each other in public without ever saying anything. He goes, men who've been to war and men who struggled with depression. And I was like, really?
Hmm.
He goes, yeah, because really men, and I'm not, please, if you were in the military, don't take offense to this. Mental health is like a war internally, right? And so it's a struggle to survive, where war is also a struggle to survive, more of an outside thing. I mean, obviously there's a mental health issue to that as well, but I'm not trying to compare the two. That's just what he told me. Okay. Um, but I've noticed that. Like I'm not saying every time, but there are times where I can go, oh, okay. It's a knowing. It's almost like certain people walk with a limp that only the others who have the limp know it, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so it's kind of like that, right? But to identify it, I would say quick to anger when they're not normally like that. A big disengagement from things, like noticing, like, hey, they're pulling back further. They constantly look worried, or that kind of thing. There's a few ones. Just pay attention to your friends, really.
Yeah. And I like that. That if you think something's off, ask,
Yeah.
dig a little deeper, and be a little persistent, even if it's a call later or something, because that might be one that people may not. If you're out in a public place, well, I probably am not going to talk about that with you. But if like you call me 30 minutes later while we're both in the car, I may, no, dude, I'm not all right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about
Yep. Yep.
just
Yeah. A
needing
good.
to get,
That's a good point. Timing, right? Timing matters.
yeah,
If you were to ask me in the middle of my day with everybody around me, "Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm good." I'm not gonna about to blurt out that I'm like, "Oh, I'm suicidal," in front of
yeah.
everybody, right?
No, well, and that's what I was thinking. It's like it wouldn't be like good, like hey, at BNI to keep with 40 other people in there right around in the circle. Like, you sure you're okay, Shawn?
Yeah.
Let me lean in just a little bit closer. Tell me,
Come here, come here,
like,
come here.
no, that's not a good time.
But it could be one of those things where you're like you said, call after, or hey, I'm gonna make sure I stay and kind of follow them out, or um, hey man, everything okay?
Right.
That kind of thing. I've had to do that with people I know, and it's like, everything okay, man? No, it's not. All right, man. And sometimes people don't want to talk about it, but the best thing you can do is, hey man, I'm going to pray for you, and then follow up with them. Hey man, just checking in. How you doing? Everything okay?
Yeah. And so if there's anybody who's watching tonight that might realize that they're not doing well, like what's one of the first steps you would give them? Like what are some things they can do right now to overcome that?
Yeah, right now, reach out to someone you love and you trust, someone that you know is going to hold the delicate part of you delicately, right? Because right now, if you're like me at one point, which was I had written a suicide note, I was ready to, I was going out and watching sunsets because I didn't know if I was going to see another one, right? So find someone that is
Mm,
someone you trust that will hold you, delicately. Um, talk to somebody. There are crisis hotlines. Even if you're like, I have nobody, Sean, my parents, my friends, there are resources that you can reach out to people with. Do that. Reach out to me. Like find me on social media, all of that. I would be glad to help. Like I've legit been there. I get it. Um, always glad to help. Always glad to talk to someone. I stop my day. Like that's how important it is to me. Um, it's just talking to somebody. Don't isolate yourself. Talk to somebody and then go do something. Right. Get out, touch this sounds weird, but touch grass, right? Like get out in the
yes.
breeze, like go to the beach, like take the day off. The world will go on without you at work. Go take a day off and go to the beach, right? Go to the mountains wherever you're at. Look, if you just got to go and like sit at LSU lakes and put your feet, I guess they're not really there, but find some water and put your feet in them. I don't care where you're at. Um, wait for it to rain for 10 minutes in Baton Rouge. You'll have plenty of water. But, um, you know,
Right.
just reach out to someone, go do something. It's really hard to do this. I know. I remember it was hard to sometimes get out of bed, but and when I mean touch grass, I mean legit take your shoes off. They call it earthing or grounding or whatever.
Mhm.
There's so you came from the dust. There's something special about touching the grass, touching creation, right? Don't go hug a bear. I'm not saying that, but you know, do something
Well,
reasonable.
hold on. What if that bear wanted to give me a hug?
Well, it depends. Like, if it's a trained bear that's like this big, I'm good with it. But if it's a grizzly, stay away from that bad boy. Go to the zoo, look at the bear, but don't touch him. um,
Yeah.
I would
I
tell
know
you
one
too.
of my
Oh, go ahead.
oh, continue.
I was just gonna say one of the things don't do. Don't isolate yourself. Don't drink a lot of alcohol. I'm not saying not to drink alcohol because I occasionally enjoy alcohol, but if you're having an episode, alcohol is not going to help it. Um, you know, find a movie or a TV show you like and binge watch it for an hour or two. Like just do something that brings even a little. I remember the feeling of being so empty and dead that I was like, I don't even know what joy feels like anymore. And it's like you got to retrain yourself for joy and retrain yourself for like
Yes.
enjoyment. And so do that, right? Do those things. There's no cure, or not that there's not a cure. There's no telltale sign that's going to make each person. It's not going to work, right? Each person's different. Hey, look, get a hug from somebody. Touching another human being, especially for men, we don't like. I'm not a touchy feely guy, but I have this friend of mine. His name's Brad. He lives up in North Louisiana. He gives you a bear hug and doesn't let go for like 2 minutes. And it gets past the awkward stage. You're like, okay, I'm just in this. And he's a giant of a man. Like, I can't get out. Like, I'm a big dude, but he's just like, and at one point you're just fine, like, no, this is actually pretty nice, right? Get a bear hug from somebody, right? Like, touch
But
and
not a bear. But
but
not a bear.
a bear. Get a bear hug from a human, not a bear, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like one of my favorites to do now, and I didn't do this until recent, was I'd had one of my mentors say, all right, best thing you can do, I want you to go just type in on your phone praise and worship music and press play.
yeah.
And while that's going on, that sing the song. I'm like, whatever, this isn't going to work, but I've tried everything else. And there's just something about it, just like praising our creator, that like, hey man, you're worthy, you're better than me, you are the greatest, and just start after a while, you're like, wow, I feel better.
Yeah. There's something about going to God, that I mean, I tell people all this. He is the creator, he's the inventor of humanity. He knows how to fix us, right? And he wants to fix us.
Hmm.
Now, he may not fix us in our timetable. He may let us walk through some valleys that we don't necessarily want to walk through. But I did that, dude. I totally did that. My last year when I was having an episode, I knew I was in a really bad place. I came home. I really just came home at like 10 o'clock in the morning after an emergency meeting with my therapist, put on some worship music, cried for hours listening to this music. Sometimes I'm laying in bed with my hands up and I was singing and it looked ridiculous. If you walked in, you'd have been like, what is going on? But man, it look, King David, those aren't all happy psalms. Those are psalms where he's
No.
like, I hate life and I want to die, but blessed is the name of the Lord. Blessed is he. Praise the one who created all things, right? Like,
Right.
I think people misinterpret Christianity as this weak, goofy religion. I'm like, this dude killed giants, was like the coolest warrior ever, was the king of one of the greatest kingdoms to ever exist on the planet. And when he was down and out, he praised God. So and not only when he was down and out, when he was doing great, he praised God.
Yeah.
So it's like praise him all the time.
Oh yeah. No, and I think that's important. Like, I think that's one of the important things. You've got to make sure you're spending that quiet time, reading the word, that spending time in prayer, spending time in praise. I think that's so important, for us to get connected to something bigger than you,
Yeah.
and then having that group. I look forward to those Wednesday mornings. I look forward to that all the time because I know, hey, I'm going to be around a group of guys that gets me. They're not going to judge me, and when they say, "Hey, how are you doing?" It's not like "Oh, I'm good. Yeah, good to see you," and move on. It's a really, "How are you doing today?" Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I want to know. And we've had plenty of those where somebody came in like, "I just need to talk to somebody," and we're like, "Lesson plan, let's talk,"
Yeah.
because that's what it's about. That's why we're there. Um, and I mean, we had somebody, I don't know if you'd seen it in the chat, that was going through a lot of different stuff, and that's what I would tell you is that find a group that you can connect with. I know you said that you're seeking out therapy, which is great. I think that's a great step to make sure that you have somebody that's professional to do that. I mean, I like to think I'm a professional, but I'm not professional in that manner to help you. Um, but seeking that out, but then also seek Jesus. Seek him, seek first the kingdom of God, and then all those other things come. But having your priorities straight, that's why I always I put as the motto for my company is faith, family, futures. Like you got to have those big rocks in order, because if I fill in the rest with the sand, I won't fit the big rocks in.
Right.
And so that's what I would say, that even being shut in the UK right now, that find a group, find a church. They just type in praise and worship music on YouTube and just let it play. Even if you don't know the words of the song, just let it play. And so as we're kind of starting to wrap up, Shawn, how does that mental health affect leadership? How does that affect you as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not the leader over a big company or anything, but I've got 5 kids that see me as, one of the most important people in their lives. And so if I'm struggling mentally and it's consuming, it's trickled down from there, right? My kids can sense that, and them watching me wrestle with it and through it. And
Mhm.
what am I doing? Am I going to God? Am I being real? Am I being honest with myself? Right? They see all that, right? Matter of fact, one of
Right.
the struggles I had, one of the great guy I know, he said maybe the very struggle you're going through is so that the little people in your life, in your family, can see God's faithfulness in you through this struggle. It's like, oh man, wow. Okay, I don't want that, but who knows what your struggle could for? It might feel like God's abandoning you, but he could very well be encouraging another person's faith that he is faithful. But when it comes to leadership, man, it can, I mean, it can destroy. I'll tell you this. I know of a pastor who had this big fall, um, and I had seen him a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two before the big reveal, and I could just tell he's not in a good place. He's not in a good place mentally, not a good place emotionally, and that affects how we treat people, how we lead them, um, how we conduct business, or whatever it is, the arena. And so, at the end of the day, what really ultimately what happens is, if we're not actively trying to move out of darkness, darkness can spread from us to those around us, and that's what you don't want, right? And so the goal is, hey, I may be in a dark place right now, but I'm not going to camp out here. Don't camp out, because there's people that need you to come out, right? Right. That's a good. You need to write that down, bro. That's a good one. Don't camp out. Come out. Right there. Don't shout me down when I'm preaching good. Okay. Um, it's a lot of guys will stop in the valley, and the clouds and the lightning and the thunder and all this, the storm that's raging, but we don't get to the other side of that, and that's where we need to get, because that's where people learn their faith is true. It's right. It's, God is faithful. He brought me through it. Right. I didn't camp out here. He brought me through it. So
Yes. And I know one that I absolutely love, a quote that I've heard 1.5 million times, but I love that is, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you
yeah,
got to make sure that you're pouring into yourself. They make sure that they you're investing in your personal development. Make sure you're reading a good book daily, not every month or like daily, digging in, giving yourself something, and and go for a gratitude walk. Like, because if you're off mentally as the leader, it really is. I can't, if my cup is empty, I can't pour you any water from it if there's no water in it. I've got to go refill it daily, daily.
yeah, it's true.
And so, um, So, last final thought. What's one message you'd like to leave and with tonight?
Yeah, this is actually a message that I love. it's it is really what got me through when I was in one of my darkest moments. My wife sent it to me, and I'm actually working on a tattoo to actually get for this. And it's from this great theologian um, named Dory the Fish from Finding Nemo. And it's just keep swimming, right? Just keep swimming. And that's the thing. My wife actually bought this cool book for me. It's one of my favorite books, and I have a lot of books. Um, is when you are down and you're out, you're like, I can't do this anymore. Just keep swimming, right? Just keep going. Don't stop, right? I remember when I was in my darkest moment and God spoke to me and said, Shawn, you're not going to die today, right? It's not going to happen. I remember almost having like this it wasn't like a vision, but it was almost kind of like one. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't understand it. But I remember I was sitting in this darkness, and as far away as I could see was like this pinprick of light. And I knew if I can get to the light, I'll be good, right? And so I said, Lord, I'm going to move an inch every day. And it may take me 365 days to get there. But if I move an inch, I'm 365 inches further down the path than I was when I started.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you move an inch, just move, just keep swimming. And so for those of you who are like, I'm in the throe of this and I don't know what to do, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Right. And that's what I would say.
Absolutely. And guys, that make sure they share this. It's going to be recorded, like it's recording right now, so you can share this replay, share it with a friend, tell them to subscribe, follow, get all the notifications for the Clark Connection podcast, so they never miss out on any of these. That new episode dropping tomorrow. Top 5 favorite movie quotes, and they make sure that those of y'all that are in the area, we're going to have that breakfast, and a great one to that it's the breakfast is going to be June 16th. That's at 7:30 a.m. Doors will open at 7:50. And the Sustained Success Summit. Whew, say that 5 times fast. Um, it's a great one. Nikki Cruz puts on some great summits for leaders, for people to get in and get filled up. And I do have her. We've already recorded her episode's going to be coming out in a few weeks. If anybody had a reason to be upset and depressed and angry at God, it was Nikki. And so
Well, I didn't
think,
realize there was a chat in here, bro. And I'm just seeing this chat.
yeah,
Well, I would just say, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. This sounds like, I would just tell, I don't even know who this is like the School of Flourishing, like just keep swimming, bro. Like, don't give up. Like that's the message. Don't give up. Just keep swimming. Look, you've taken some, it's like being it sounds like this guy was in a fight with Mike Tyson is what it sounds like.
right.
Like life beat the crap out of him. And dude, I totally get that because I tell people all the time, life will beat the crap out of you. And it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. And just keep swimming. Get up one more time. I don't have it in me. Okay, call somebody. And if you don't have, like, I don't have nobody to call. There's one person you can call, and he answers every time. Jesus, Lord, I can't get up. I need you to lift me up. Right? You remember that when we were a kid? It was really popular when we were a kid. Was that Footsteps poem? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like,
Yes.
I'm dating myself here, bro. What? Okay. So like, look, sometimes it's God that's carrying you out of that. So I don't mean to take the last couple of seconds, but I just saw that, didn't even see it because I was so locked in. Dude, don't give up, brother. Don't give up.
Yeah. And, you know, I really like, the whole theme is strong men don't carry it alone. They carry it together. Find you a group that you can get with, strength isn't pretending everything is fine. It's having the courage to face reality and do something about it. It's like I end every single episode, guys. You don't have to be great to get started. but you have to get started to be great. So keep taking that next step, like Shawn was saying. Like, keep leading, keep learning, keep asking those questions. And we'll see you on the next episode of Ask the Coach.
Peace out.
Bye, everybody.